Welcome, I'm Russell Alexander. Today we're going to talk about spousal support orders and what we do about them during the pandemic. But before we take our deep dive, I've also got our COVID case of the week. The question we're asking today is, can one spouse throw the other spouse out of the house for not self-isolating properly? Is the court going to grant that, remove you from your home? Interesting question. Watch the end of the video and I'll give you the answer. So let's talk about spousal support during the pandemic. We're seeing lots of people being laid off, lots of people being asked to stay home, lots of people losing their jobs, quite frankly. These people also have to pay spousal support orders in many cases. There remains a degree of uncertainty in terms of how long this pandemic is going to go on. When we talk about spousal support, we've seen some support cases go before the court. The court's viewed it as not an urgent matter or not an emergency, and they're dismissing these cases. They're saying support could be dealt with retroactively at a later date. Quite frankly, the court has limited resources to deal with cases right now. There's a flood of people wanting to deal with issues that they think are urgent or an emergency, and that's the test you're going to have to meet. So it's just a matter of time, I think, before some of these support cases start bordering on urgency and an emergency, but not quite yet. We know the government's taken steps to cushion the blow for a lot of people. They're increasing employment insurance benefits, they have wage subsidies for employers. There's new programs coming out almost daily by the provincial and federal government to help people who are losing their jobs. I think the question is not a question of if, but a question of when. Changes in income are going to be considered urgent. Unlike child support, where child support is usually changed each year when people get their notices of assessment, they take a look at their line 150, they compare it to the guidelines. Child support may go up or down a little bit depending on if the payor's income has gone up or down. Spousal support is a little bit different. We need to take a look at the existing court order or agreement. More specifically, does it provide for an automatic adjustment to spousal support? What is the basis of spousal support? Is it a voluntary payment that two people agree to outside of the court system or outside of working with lawyers? Is it a court-ordered requirement that somebody pay spousal support to their other spouse? Is it pursuant to a domestic contract or a marriage contract? Or is it a specific term of a separation agreement? So we need to take a look at the nature of the support, specifically what is the basis that is being paid. The next time we need to take a look at is the actual support that's being paid. Is this an indefinite support order that's been ordered for a long-term marriage, such as 25 years or more, where one person is going to pay their spouse support for life? Is it time-limited support? Does the court order agreement say you're going to pay support for X number of years or X number of months? Is it subject to review or variation? Oftentimes, court orders or even separation agreements will spell out when a support order could be subject to variation or review. Is the spousal support being paid compensatory in nature? What that means is, are you being compensated, or are you compensating someone for the role that he or she played during the course of the marriage? That's another factor to consider whether or not this can be reviewed. Does the agreement or does the court order list what a material change is and provide specific examples of a material change and when you can review a spousal support order? The concept of a material change is a unique one in law. It has a very specific meaning. We have lots of case law that define and tell us what's a material change and what's not. Essentially, if it's something that occurred or something occurs that you didn't anticipate when you entered into your spousal support agreement, that could be considered a material change. I think we can all agree that this pandemic that we're experiencing is not something anybody anticipated 4 or 5 years ago when they entered into a spousal support order. If you entered into the order or the agreement during the pandemic, then you would have known about it and it would not have been a material change. So you're going to find that changes to spousal support are going to be fact generated, and we're going to generate a lot of different results based on these various factors that we talked about. The current trend we're seeing with respect to case law and support orders during the pandemic for the last 3 or 4 weeks when everything's really gone into a lockdown is that spousal support orders are not currently being considered urgent or an emergency matter. The court has limited resources. They are only dealing with urgent or emergency matters at this point in time. So if you don't meet that test, your request is going to be dismissed. The court may say we'll deal with it retroactively at a later date, but you're not going to get the relief that you need today. If the economy worsens, and it is estimated this pandemic could go on for several months at least, I think we're going to see increasing pressure on spousal support payors, where they may transition from simply we're going to deal with it at a later date retroactively, that this is now an emergency or an urgent matter. They cannot meet their support orders. Support payors, and a lot of people are experiencing a lot of hardship during this pandemic. In concluding, I think we need to be mindful that there's no winner or losers here. Support payors are going to be unhappy. Support recipients are going to be unhappy. They still have budgets and bills to pay. Nobody's going to walk away from this pandemic gaining an advantage of any sort. So this is some of the analysis we're going to apply when looking at support orders, whether they should be changed, whether they should be reduced, whether they should be terminated during this pandemic. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please hit the like button, share it with your friends. A little bell is going to show up. You can click that bell, you get notified of other videos that we're going to be releasing. If you have questions about spousal support or questions about family law in the pandemic, there's a little box at the bottom of your screen. Please put your question there. We're going to assemble the questions each week and put together a video answering everybody's questions. So please leave your questions, we're going to get to them. So let's stop where we started. We started talking about a case at the beginning, pandemic COVID-19 case with respect to the home. The answer to the question is, can you get kicked out of your home because of COVID-19 and complaints from your spouse? The answer is yes. We took a deep dive into a case last week where a court ordered the father to be removed from the home. He was misleading the mother. He wasn't providing evidence he is properly safeguarding, self-isolating and distancing. As a result of that, the court ordered that the father not be allowed back into the home, gave the mother exclusive possession. The court went even further and ordered that the father's contact with the children was going to be digital and online, and stopped all face-to-face access with the children. Pretty big step made by the court in that decision. If you enjoyed this spousal support video, please like it. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching today. Be safe, and we hope to see you soon.